Okay, this woman who was really important in an organization that I belonged to worked several years on on many different projects and was getting ready to receive recognition for all her hard work when she passed away. And you always hear stuff like that when people go into a wedding or have car crashes or teenagers dying before graduation. So anyway, this was on my bucket list. So I decided I'm going to do it. So I'm going to talk to you mostly about paranormal authors, but I want to give a couple of honorable mentions before I get into it. First, an old Regency, a very old Regency. Beatrice Mall, Sky O'Malley. It's a very strong female character. There's about 7 books in the main series. It follows Sky her entire life, and then her children. Takes place in England, 1600s, I think, 16 or 1700s. A must read. If you're a Regency reader at all, a must read. Okay. For more modern day people, J.D. Robb. This is the first book in a 40-book series, Naked in Death. Eve Dallas is a lieutenant in the New York City Security and Police Department, however you say it. You may know J.D. as Nora, but it's weird. I don't like anything Nora writes, but I love J.D. This is a fantastic series. You have to read it in order to get the relationships. And Susan Erickson, also fantastic job of reading the audiobooks. Oh, and one more honorable mention. If you've gone through a tragedy and some time has passed and you want to give yourself permission to laugh, and you may not be interested in this particular genre, but Janet Ivanovich, One for the Money, books 1 and 2, 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 to get deadly, will make you laugh. Okay. So, the first book, I'm rereading all my books. Okay, so the first book is first authors, Lara Adrian. Vampire series, the breed is like a police force, and each book is a different guy with romance. The second author is Leanna Andrews. I haven't read these in a while, but she's the second author I recommend. And of course, Jennifer Armentrout. Next author. I can't see. There you go. Carrie Arthur. She has several different series. The main one is I keep saying Riley. She's a police officer of some sort with a paranormal police agency in Australia? Forget where. Foreign country. Pretend foreign country. The only thing is, it's a standing series like a soap opera, so it ends, but it still leaves stuff open for the next book. She's a character who treats sex like you would alcohol. She goes into this place, move clothes, have relations, take a shower, put clothes back on, and leave. Because she's a werewolf. And she has a couple different series. Another vampire author, sort of, kinda, is Amanda Ashley. Each book is kind of different. The one book was going really well. It was kind of awkward. I'm reading things differently than I did 30 years ago. My perspective has changed quite a bit. It was kind of... It may not have bothered me 30 years ago, but it bothers me now. That the heroine, he meets the heroine when she's 8, and then nurses a relationship till she's old enough to other stuff. Her second book I put down because the vampire decided he was from another planet, and that's how he was a vampire. But there are other books in the series I need to continue. I may end up getting rid of the whole set, but I bought brand new ones without reading the caption because it was the author I liked, and I want to at least read them before I pop them up. Michelle Bardsley, a cute mention. Hers is a cute vampire series. What does... After death of my husband and my dreams of motherhood, I returned to the family estate in Broken Heart, Oklahoma. Little did I know I would literally give up my life as Elizabeth Breton, the Silverstone heiress. The whole undead situation calls for a drink. Blood martini, please, straight up. It's a cute series. It's been a while since I read it. Jenna Black, also a cute series. Morgan Kinsley, America's most successful exorcist, is paying the price for an exorcism gone wrong. The victim's family is suing the daylights out of her. The exorcism board has expended her license. It's cool. One of the ladies of the hour, Patricia Briggs. The first book in the series is Moon Called. This is the second one, Cry Wolf. Mercy Thompson is a shape-shifting coyote. It's a very popular series. It's a very good series. She meets Adam, falls in love, him and his pact. Very good series. Couple of honorable mentions that I haven't read in a while, so I don't remember what they were about. Caitlin Kittredge and Karen Chance. This was a little science fiction, off-planet, psychic working with vampires. This is a very, very good series. Kelsey Cole. These I've reread recently. Different narrator each book. After ending years of torture from the vampire horde, Lachlan McReeve, leader of the Lyke clan, is enraged to find the predestined mate he's waited millennia for is a vampire. Very, very good series. It's a long series, but it's a very good series. Casey, I'm going in alphabetical order, sorry. Casey Daniels, she works in a cemetery, and the dead come to her, hey, I was murdered, please solve my murder. Very good series. Cute, very light. Dorinda Jones, First Grave on the Right, first book in the 13 book series. Girl who helps people pass through to heaven, and her soulmate is the devil or Lucifer or Lucifer's kid. It's a good series. Okay. Mary Janice Davidson. Undead. Each book is titled Undead End. And I think it's Betsy. If you like fashion, if you're into shoes, Betsy's your girl. Because she will talk about, how do you say it, Louis Vuittons, the entire book. It's a good series. Okay. One of the more well-known authors who I own just about all of her books, and I'm beginning to question myself as to why. Like I said earlier, my reading tastes have changed. And 30 years ago, I really liked these books. I reread them recently, and I so don't like these books. If you go onto my Goodreads postings, you will see sometimes I put the page numbers down, sometimes I didn't, but it really bothered me that the heroine was like, not only no, but hell no, over my dead body hell. The hero would say the magical phrase, and then she's all over him like butter on bread. And if he was more than 10 feet away from her, she's panic attack. So to me, it felt like rape, especially after the Me Too movement lately. It felt like rape. Almost every single book. I think it was into the 20s before there was even a remotely semi-consensual thing prior to the man saying the magic words. The lady in question is Christine Feehan. This is the first book in the series, Dark Destiny. If you can get past the hell no, never. There's one where the chick says she'll kill herself before she submits. And then, of course, he says the magic words. She also has a witch series. I haven't reread these in a while. I plan on it. She also did, there was 7 sisters. Then she went ahead and did 7 brothers. And then she went on to do scientifically altered human beings in the game series. Honorable mention, Jacqueline Frank. A little scientific vampire. These are probably ones I'm going to give away. Very slow. Yeah, whatever. Janine Frost, very, very good series. This is one of the later ones, so Chicago private investigator Grace Curling should have kept on walking. Oh no, this is the okay. After a tragic accident scarred her body and destroyed her dreams, Layla never imagined that the worst was still to come. A terrifying ability to channel electricity and to see a person's darkest secrets. A single touch, Layla is doomed to a life of solitude, and she meets Vlad Tempish. That's not the one I was thinking of. This is the one I was thinking of. Kat Crawford and her husband Bones. They solve mysteries. It's a good series. It's the Janine Frost I was looking for in the first place. A couple more honorable mentions that I haven't read in a while, so I really can't tell you much about them. Terry Gary, Nancy Gideon, Colleen Gleason. We're up to the G's, as you can tell. Honorable mention, Laurie Hanlon, Handeland, vampire. I'm not vampire. Werewolf. Okay. Very popular lady, very good writer. Enjoyed her books immensely. Have reread them many, many, many times. There was also a TV series. I'm telling you, the books are better than the series. She ended this series. We were all sad to see it go. It might have been a huge mistake. Her future books have been, But anyway, The Famous Lady in Question, Charlene Harris, the Sookie Stackhouse series, Sookie is a telepath, and she meets a vampire, Bill, meets another vampire, Eric. Her bartender, the owner of the bar where she works, is Sam. He's a shapeshifter. Extremely highly recommended series. Highly recommended. The Kim Harrison, Dead Witch Walking. It's a Hollow series. Sorry. The Hollows. Oh, what was the two female characters? Oh, I forget what their names are. Dead Witch Walking, Kim Harrison. It's a very, very good series. Even if you're not, and I'm not, for a female thing, and it never actually happened, you always wish something. But it never happened. Spoiler, sorry. But it's Ivy and Rachel. That's it. Ivy and Rachel. Rachel's the witch. Ivy is the vampire. And, the fairy. Oh, I can't think of his name. He's so cute. He brings a little humor to the series. It's all, but I think there's at least 10. I'd have to count them. Very good series. Very good series. Okay. Go on YouTube and search Blood Ties. I think it's Blood Ties. Female detective meets a vampire and shows her as a gothic receptionist. Amazingly very good series. It would have lasted longer, except Lifetime showed it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So they purposely killed the series. But Blood Pact, Tanya Huff, very, very good series. I recently discovered there was a sequel, and the sequel sucks. But this is amazing. Honorable mention, Alexander Ivy. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. I've got a few. I've got to read. Check Goodreads for additional references. A couple of honorable mentions. Angela Knight, Dragon series. Good. Deidre Knight. I forget. Sorry. Kathy Love. A little on the hot side. Vampires, I think in Vegas. Good series. Another honorable mention and good series and an author that likes to play with titles. Katie McAllister. The Zen and the Art of Vampires. She's got a lot of cute titles, and this is The Tale of Two Vampires. Evan McCarthy, also honorable mention. Another one that likes to play with titles. And this also, I think, takes place in Vegas, as in Sucker Bit. Honorable mention, Rachel Mead. Vampire Academy series. Not as, let's say, better quality than Twilight. Alright, honorable mention, Karen Marie Moaning, Fae Fever. For me personally, I don't know about you, but for me personally, this was a really good series until the narration was taken over by a secondary character who became the primary character. And that's where it fell apart for me. I have the books. I have not read them yet. But like I said, I think I read like the first two of the new narration, and it just didn't work for me. Alright, Chloe Neal, Some Girls Bite, the Chicagoland series. It's a very good series. She's also got a spin-off now of The Kid. So far, it's holding water. Honorable mention, because I can't remember, Chris Rohn, Burning Skies. Another author who is good. The books could be longer. And it's an current ongoing series, and she's managed to keep new stuff. Not to keep it from going boring or repetitive like Christine Freehan, who did the same thing every single book. But these are hot, so be prepared. D.B. Reynolds, this is the first book in the series, Raphael. Very good series. Another famous lady, Lindsay Sands, A Quick Bite. Is this the Argino? I always get her and Sparks confused. This doesn't tell me. I think these are the society with the. Oh, it's a cute series. I can't. The organization. I can't remember his name now, but it's a really cute. It has some funny moments. I remember the funny moments of the Scottish characters that come into play later on. They're cute. It's an organization. They similar to, alright, let's say the Black Dagger Brotherhood of J.R. Ward, who we will get to later on, but on a much lighter tone, let's say. Not as heavy. It's a lighter vampire, but it's really good. Another honorable mention, Maggie Sheen. She also does historical romances. She got some vampire. Oh, another honorable mention is Nina Bings. Or Bangs, should I say. A little bit of like Sabrina kind of thing with the talking cat, and a female witch who likes to play matchmaker, should I say, and vampires who have opened their haunted castle to tourists. And I always say, if you read a book and you put it down, you can remember what it's about. It was a really good book. So the fact that I don't even have to pick these books up, I remember what they're about. They were good. I can't reach them. They're too high up. But another really, really, really good series is Sherilyn Kenyon, the Dark Hunter series. Extremely good series. Fantasy Love is the first one. It's a little harlequin-y, gushy romance kind of thing, but it does get better, a lot better. The Acheron book is 1,000 pages. It's a little heavy. I suggest you read it once entirely through, and in future listings start at like page 500 and just read the current day Acheron and not the, because all of her characters are sufferers, major sufferers, but they meet their potential mate and things improve greatly. What are we up to? Erin McCarthy. Oh, I did that already. Maggie Shane. Susan Zimmerman. Kerry Vaughn, good series. J.R. Ward, like I had mentioned previously, the Black Dagger Brotherhood, an extremely good series. Dark Lover, I think is the first one. Then one of my favorite authors in the world. Besides J.D. Robb, another author who I will be at the bookstore when it opens. There was a comic recently that this lady's like, I just ordered a book from my favorite author, and the husband goes, well, what's the bet? And she's like, well, I don't know. And he goes, well, then how come you didn't read it before you ordered it? Because it's my favorite author. Guilty pleasures. Oh, this isn't guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasures starts it all. Well, okay, Hamilton, Anita Blake, Necromancer, Meets a Vampire, John Claude, and like I said with the fee handbooks, that was one thing that kind of bothered me with Anita in the beginning, was not only her hell no, but over my dead body hell no. If it could have been, sometimes I wish Laurel could go back and rewrite and change it to a not right now, or I just met you kind of situation, instead of the hell no over my dead body no. Because in about 7 books, her and Jean Claude, everybody, some people say Jean Claude, some people say Jean Claude, it's French, say it how you want. Read the books in order for relationship status. Jean Claude, there's also a comic book series. That's supposed to be Anita. That's supposed to be Jean Claude. I was trying to see if we could find a better picture. Oh. There are those lovely people. They only did the first couple of books, because after that. But Richard, the Werewolf King, future Werewolf King. Nathaniel, Micah, Jason, Damien, Asher become the core characters. And for the first 8 books, there's a murder mystery that gets solved. She works with the police. It works. Book 9, or 10, however you count them. Obsidian Butterfly. If you decide you like Edward, you like Mexico, go for it. Otherwise, skip. The book has nothing to do. You can read it as a standalone. Well, sort of, kind of. Not really. You have to know the characters. Well, you have to know Anita at least. It's Anita trying to find herself again. And then we start back up with Narcissus in Chains. NIC for short. Anita returns to her friends and other stuff. And then it's Narcissus, Cerulean Sins, Incubus Dreams. To me, is the climax book of the series. It's over 1,000 pages. There's a couple of them. Some of you may feel as Richard does, But to me, it's the pinnacle book of the series. It's best. Must read these in order though. After that, the series takes a nosedive massively. A lot of fans fell off at that point. She's starting to come back to the detective bit again slowly. We haven't seen Dolph and Zabrowski and the gang in a little bit. So she left the country for one book, for Damien's book. It was a little heavy. As you can tell, I'm really into this author, like Sherilyn Kenyon and the Dark Hunters and Acheron and the whole gang. Also, honorable mention would be Catherine Coulter, Sherlock and Slavik, FBI detective side of, whatever FBI, you want to call FBI agents, solve mysteries each book. And in the beginning, the relationship, like a third character would come in and be a friend of theirs from somewhere. They would meet this person and this person would fall in love, blah blah blah. Some of that's fallen more to the background, so you don't get the interpersonal stuff between the secondary characters anymore. I was kind of missing that. There was a couple books like, what? Where? Huh? They fell in love after one paragraph? I thought this would take a lot longer and it didn't. But definitely, almost forgot. So, Laurel has this other series. For those of you who thoroughly enjoy the events in Narcissus, Cerulean, and Incubus, and the rest of them, want more adult situation than mystery than cop, more bedroom stuff than mystery than cop, we've got Mary. This series is sort of kind of ended for now. Laurel says Mary is happy in her current situation, and if Laurel writes something, that means something that had to have happened to make Mary unhappy, and Mary does not want to be unhappy, so she's happy where the series is right now. Laurel herself would like to write something in the future, but the character does not want her to write something in the future because the character is happy. That's what she says. So, for lighter reads, Casey Daniels, Mary Janice Davison, Betsy and Her Shoes are fun. I don't know, pages about Louis Vuitton. A few non-paranormal suggestions. JJ Jantz has a J.P. Beaumont series that I think is great. She has a female series too, but I never could get into it. But the J.P. Beaumont is really good. Mary Belo, Julia Quinn and the Bridgertons are a good series. Joanna Lindsay and the Mallorys. She is the slowest author in the history of the world. Stephanie Lawrence and the Sinsters. Now, I have a pet peeve with Stephanie Lawrence. She writes, some of her books are really, really good. This quartet series, the Buccaneer Quartet that she wrote a couple years ago, Fantastic. These books are just perfect. They're long. The characters maintain. The situation maintains. The mystery maintains. Through the whole book. The love and attention to detail that went into these 4 books. The overlapping. Literally fantastic. We literally wait 20 years. 20 years. Literally. I'm serious. 20 years. For the continuation of the original set of Sinisters. Winter's Light, or I forget what the book title is. It's a 4-book series, or 3-book, 4-book series, 3-book series. It is the worst shit she's ever written. Sorry, shouldn't have said that. It was like, I got the feeling that the fans had been bugging her editors had been bugging her. We all want to see what happened to the children. And it's been 20 years, obviously they've all grown up. And it was like, she's like, fine, I can, I have no idea what happened. But she's like, fine. She wasn't in the mood to write about these people. She sat down one day, typed a few hundred pages, and was like, I'm done. And they put them in large paperbacks so they could charge more. The Buccaneer series is in mass market size, and like I said, 400 pages. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then the Sinister books that we've been waiting 20 years for, they put in large paperback so they could charge the $15 for them. We would all buy them because we've been waiting. Those of us who are still living would all buy them. Or those of us who are still paying attention to Stephanie Lawrence would all buy them without even thinking about it. And they suck. I cried. I literally cried for days. It's been a year or so, and obviously it still bugs me because I'm still complaining about it. And Kenyon's got a dragon series. To me, I don't know. She's also got a Dead Man series that the first book, she did it in previous books, but I don't think she did it to the extent that she did it in this particular book. But it was like the first in the Dead Man series. And the guy's name, don't quote me on this, I'm just making this up. Captain John James Smith. And sometimes she called him Smith, sometimes she called him John, sometimes she called him James, sometimes she called him the Captain. It got so bad that I ended up photocopying the first couple of chapters, crossing out what she called the character, and writing in the first name she ever called the character, and then read the series that way. And then when I finished, I threw out my copies. But for the first 11 chapters, I just couldn't. The second book was a little bit better. She didn't refer to the character in so many different terms as she did in the first book, but it was highly, it's like every time he came into contact with somebody had known him by a different name, and it was just so confusing. She's also got the Infinity series, Kenyon does. It's a spin-off of the Nicholas character. I hate what she did to the Nicholas character. I hate that the relationship between Nicholas, or Nick, and Acheron deteriorated like this. It's horrible. So we're getting up on the hour mark if you're still with me after all this time. Just trying to think. No, I've been through everybody, I think. I don't think anybody's mentioned as many paranormal authors as I have. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do it. It was on my bucket list, and considering that that person had passed, and I also, if I post this, I compile and transcribe original genealogical records into books. For those people who cannot make it to the courthouse, I have 21 books that I have published. Not many have sold because the only really interested parties are libraries. But they're the City of Norfolk marriage records. I've transcribed 100 years worth of wills. And they can be seen on my website. NY for New York, VA for Virginia, genealogy, genealogy.homestead.com. Huge site. There's also separate pages. There are links on the main page for the separate pages of Princess Anne County, aka Virginia Beach, and City of Norfolk. I should really take that county off borough. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Listen to the whole thing. I'm sorry if some of the authors I could not remember quite vividly, but if you're gonna read something, read Laurel, read Charlene, read Kim Harrison. Casey Daniels is cute. Mary Janice Davidson, Betsy and Her Shoes. Catherine Coulter, the FBI series, if you're looking for something more normal. Janet Ivanovich, Stephanie Plum is a bounty hunter. Horrible bounty hunter. Which also, if you're a Nita Blake fan, you're always hoping for something more there, but Janet keeps it pretty PG. It's like the chapter ends with a kiss and the bedroom door closing, and the next chapter starts next morning. Couple of other slightly honorable mentions. Anya Bast. If you're looking for something really, no, we won't mention that one. Patricia Briggs, Mercy Thompson is an excellent series. There's a new one coming out soon. Sherry R. Ward, the Brotherhood series. She's also starting a teenage series about some of the teenage characters in the book. That's coming along pretty good. Chloe Neal and her offshoot series. It's good. I prefer the parents. Maybe my generation. But a lot of these books are going to be going soon. But to make room for the newer ones. I'm always looking for new. If anybody finds me a vampire detective, let me know. Speaking of which, on YouTube, Forever Night, Moonlit, or Light, Moonlight. Not Ing, not the Bruce Willis series, but Moonlight. The guy from Hawaii Five-O played a vampire detective, believe it or not. Moonlight, Forever Night, Blood Ties. There was one more, can't remember. The Night Stalker series. There was also a really campy one in the 70s. But those are good. So I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it was so long. I don't know if you were entertained or not. I tried to bring up as many vampire, witch, paranormal authors that I could. I'm sorry I'm not so familiar with quite most of them on my shelves. It's been quite a long time since I've done a reread, and I'm currently in the middle of doing a reread. trying to think if there's any. No, maybe I'll do a separate Regency one day. But yeah, the main authors that, if you're new to paranormal, Charlene Kenyon. Start with Fantasy Lover and continue up that way. Anita Blake, start with Guilty Pleasures. Charlene Harrison, Sookie Stackhouse series. Patricia Briggs, Mercy Thompson. Those are the big ones. Kim Harrison, The Hollows. Jenks. That's the fairy's name, I think. Good books. Really good books. I'm glad I did this. This was on my bucket list. I wanted something to do. I gotta get back to my Norfolk books. And I'm trying to lose weight too, as you can tell. Hey, I'm down 40 pounds. I've hit my plateau. I'm still shooting to get lower. It's been really hard. Thank you.